Hello everyone, my name is Marcello Kolax and today we're going to have a look at European energy markets for the week starting the 21st of August 2023. Alright, so today we're going to look at the TTF, Brent and carbon. We always start with the TTF on the weekly chart, just zooming out because it can get very much overwhelming if you just always focus on the candle to candle bit. So it's good if we start the week with a big overview. We have come down from this ginormous uptrend from 2020 and we are or have been on our way lower. So I'm just drawing in for us, ignore the rest, the Fibonacci retracement levels, just for us to get a big overview of where we are, and the market has more or less retraced to the 61.8% Fibonacci retracement level. This is nothing new. This already happened in May, just for us to as a little reminder of where we are. What has the volume been doing? As the downtrend commenced, we did see a big spike in volume, which was always good. Volume confirming the trend. Now we're in a little bit of a consolidation phase, and the volume is spiking. But we'll talk about that in a second, where the volume actually is. So let's have a quick look onto the daily chart. Oh yeah, one more thing I wanted to mention here. So now that we're at the 61.8 Fib retracement, that actually means that is usually how much the markets retrace a move before pushing higher again. So it is a obvious support level. I mean, there's nothing new. It was already hit in May, but just for as a little reminder. And what I want to focus on now is this little bit down here. So this has been going on since May, June, and this is a consolidation phase of this preceding downtrend that has been active since August 2022. And some might call this an accumulation phase, which means where, by textbook, this is where the smart money in quotation marks would buy up cheaply. So it's very easy to buy up without pushing the market higher because the selling is still happening. What would then usually follow is a public participation phase with the market actually pushing higher again before we have a distribution phase as soon as we start hitting some significant peak. So here's my question. These terms are for the equity sector and the US markets usually. Yeah, that's where they were born. So accumulation phase, in quotation marks, smart money. Who would be buying up cheaply here? That is my question. Who would be considered smart money in the European energy industry? That's a question for you. Actually, put it in the comments if you're seeing this on LinkedIn or on YouTube. Let me know who you think would be the smart money here. Okay, so what is happening? We have been tracing lower, and now a little bit of this. And the first thing that I identified was actually, of course, the channel. And within the channel, this triangle that was resolved, of course, with the announcement of, or the possibility of strikes in the Australian LNG sector that pushed the market higher like so. And we did start making higher highs and higher lows. And we are outside of this triangle, we are above the channel. So overall, my thought was rather bullish for the near term. And we can see that the market actually did start to make higher highs and higher lows. And now we're a little bit in a congestion phase. We'll talk about that in just a moment. And ultimately, if we continue to push higher above the 41 area, we would still see 41, 42, 43. So I would say it's a thick resistance area with many different people putting their stops in this area. Yeah, we would probably see a push to 57, 56 if we were to make it above this resistance area. Why do I think that? Okay. First of all, let's have a quick look. So we do see on the daily chart for the TTF that, so this here was the spike, was probably motivated by short covering. Then we did see this retracement lower, and we do see a fall in volume. So the market is not fully agreeing with this downtrend, just a little bit of maybe profit taking or loss taking. And now nothing really is happening anymore. So what I want to see is a break above the 41-43 area or a break below 33.68 before we can continue with a trend. So what is happening? I am putting in, for example, this year, a lot of people might be looking at 41.145. Then maybe you have others who are looking at 43.55. Maybe there are still others who are probably looking at this peak, or still others who are looking at that peak. So you can see many different traders with many different trading styles and thoughts about the market. It's all more or less bunching up here, no matter where you are. So this also has even on the intraday time frame, there's a lot of resistance areas here, which are like relative peaks. So this area will be difficult to take, but if it is taken, that would be a good sign for the bulls to really push then until the 56, 57 area, because there's not much of resistance in the way except for this old peak here near 49.95. So can you see, this here is important to take, and that's why we still haven't made it really. To the downside, however, there's not much. There's like one trough that's important, and then there's which coincides with the falling channel that has been broken. So this resistance can turn into support. But other than that, there's not much. If we break below here, we could very easily make it to 26.34 again. I don't see that happening for now with the information that is available to us. So volume still more or less with the bulls, but right now we're in a very near-term consolidation phase within the near-term uptrend. Very near-term, I would say a couple of days, 1 week. Yeah, near-term I define as between 1 and 3 weeks. So we are still in this uptrend. If you would be zooming in onto the hourly chart, we would be able to maybe trade these swings, which has been very painful last week. So hands off the market if you can. So let's get a little bit more evidence. Let's have a look at tools. So as a trend tool, I like to choose the MACD. Of course, you can look at other tools as well, ROC, rate of change, or you can simply look at moving averages. This is all possible. Looking here, we do see, yes, we did get a very clear bullish signal with the MACD moving above its zero line in, when is this, early August. Now the market seems to be, it's called hinging if we just more or less it like flattens out drastically. But we are still above the zero line, and we are still above, MACD is still above its signal line as well. We are above zero. So overall, we are still bullish. Let's have a look at oscillators. So oscillators, I don't like to use the overbought, oversold signals as the trend is happening, because this can be misleading. Of course, we are going to go into overbought territory if you start hitting new highs. Yeah, but what oscillators can still be used for, like the CCI, stochastic, RSI, whichever you choose, you can still look at also the peaks and troughs. So you can see we are pushing higher. This is good, but we are not really making any new highs here. For example, as it was the case here. Yeah? So higher highs and higher lows, higher highs and higher lows. So we got a little bit of an uptrend happening. So you can use the RC for or the stochastics or the CCI for like trend determination. So, and this is very much reflected in the trend itself. So yes, we are pushing higher, but we are struggling to actually make a new high here relative. Yeah. So this is all fairly reflected in here. Let's remove this for clarity again. So what is the summary? The summary for me is we are experiencing a consolidation phase right now in the very near term. This should not be traded maybe on the daily time frame, because right now you'll be just trying to straight up guess what the next candle is. This time frame is not appropriate for trading the daily. So here I would encourage you to go into the hourly or the 15-minute time frame if you choose to take advantage out of the small swings. Zooming out onto the daily chart, yes, higher highs, higher lows. We want to see this resolved in order to push higher to 56, 57. Why? Conversely, as soon as we break below 33.68, my bullish stance would be completely undone. And that's what TA helps with. We are not trying to predict. We are just looking at what other people are looking at. And a drop lower would be easier. Doesn't mean it's more likely at the moment. Okay. Why do I keep talking about 56, 57? Why is that my target? For two reasons. The first reason is it is the 200-day exponential moving average. There's a very important psychological level of resistance. Because above it, we would definitely, for the midterm, probably for the coming season, reverse the trend from this big downtrend to the big uptrend, probably with winter happening. So, considering we are in late August, September, October, we are almost there. We are almost there. Okay. The next reason is it is also, let me remove this, the target of this triangle. So we apply this width here and we apply it to the breakout area and we would get exactly this. So I'm just using the fibs here for ease. There you go. Can you see? It is the same distance. And this is the box standard triangle target. So that means that different traders with different trading styles are all looking at the same level. So there's some pull to it. Okay, let's have a look at, so this will be a really interesting week. So here's the things. We are probably in this range for a little bit. Break higher would be more in line with the evidence given to us. A break higher would be significant because there's so many resistance levels that would be taken out. And if we break above this, then we could make it to 57, 56 if the 49.95 is taken. I don't see too much resistance happening here, but now I'm just leaning myself too far out of the window. Let's have a look at Brent. Okay, so that's interesting. Let's have a look. Let's zoom out completely and let's have a look at this entire thing here. Where are we in the grand scheme of things? Boop and boop. Now you might be wondering, why didn't I take this here? Because extraordinary long wicks are sometimes unrepresentative of market action, but there's no rule against it. It's just my personal preference. Then also, why did I take this and not this? So I think we can, if it's like crazy long, we can take it all, yeah. Or we say if it's like the long wicks are somewhat unrepresentative, and we can see that there's more support here, 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 and here, yeah, with the bodies. So we can just cut out the wick and not take it as a fib. And then here, this is truly just a question of taste. Is this constituted as, in quotation marks, too long of a wick? This is up to you, truly. There's no right or wrong. What I like to do is I like to see it with where the market previously found support or resistance to kind of figure out what everyone else is looking at. So let's have a look at this here. So obviously, okay, this here, the 23.6 offered support and the 38.2 was then bang on. Okay, let's have a look. Let's have a look here. This is more or less also still bang on. This is kind of still okay as well. So in this case, I'm going with this and this. So where are we? The fibs actually mean something. So we are retracing all of this. And above 23.6, it's all just considered a little bit of noise in the grand scheme of things. Towards 38.2, this is a normal smaller correction. Between 38.2, 50, 61, this would be considered an extended correction. I don't see us going there anytime soon. And the break below would to 78.6. This more or less means that like this whole uptrend could be very easily undone completely. But we are not there yet. This was just a little explanation, a little study, a little side quest on fibs in general. So, but fibs do help us to see what other people are seeing, and people do put their stops there, and there's nothing silly. I think it makes a lot of sense. So why wouldn't we want to see what everyone else is seeing as well? Okay, what is this telling us? We are at important support, 38.2. If we were to break below 38.2, we would need to see some real bearish conviction, and that would require some real bearish news, fundamental news. So I don't see that happening. The bounce here makes sense. Now we are moving higher again, so let's remove those for the moment. Let's have a look what's happening on the daily chart. Okay. Zooming out again, I like to retell the story every single time. So December 2022, sideways trend. Then we broke lower, a little bit iffy here, and then we simply the sideways trend shifted lower. If you've been following for quite some time, we do see we turn kind of very bullish here. This was good. This old resistance level is turning into support, because that means imagine you are at this point in time, yeah, and this support resistance, maybe you're doing like an intraday play, taking the swings, yeah, as they come and go. And by now you would probably think, okay, so we are here again. We do have a little bit of a bearish candle. What did the tools actually do? Okay, we didn't get a bearish signal here, so hopefully you didn't take it. Some people did, which is why I get support here. Okay, so you might be thinking, all right, it happened so many times, so probably it's a good opportunity here to go short and then just simply anticipate the market to continue swinging higher and lower. Yeah, this obviously did not happen, and the market broke higher. So you're trapped with your short here. So you went short and the market moved high, and they go, okay, this doesn't look good. And you might be thinking, okay, you know what? Next time the market comes down a little bit, I want to at least get rid of my short position. So at least I get out at 0 or near 0. And that's why old resistance can turn into support. Because everyone who was on the wrong side of the trade, who was still short, is going, okay, I'll wait this out. We will come back down and then I will buy. And this is fueling the uptrend. Or can you see you were neutral and the market breaks higher, and then you go, oh man, I wish I would have gotten in a little bit earlier. Then you go, okay, you know what? I will move. I'll go long as soon as we trace a little bit, and I want to just buy some because this is a good area. And it did happen, and that fuels the uptrend as well. So whenever you see old resistance turning into support, or let's say vice versa, yeah, old support turning into resistance, that's always a good sign if that holds, that a trend is commencing. All right, then same psychology happening at the 200-day exponential moving average. So here also resistance turned into support. And now we're having exactly the same thing. Resistance, maybe, hopefully, turning into support. So we're hitting this really important resistance level that's been in place since, November, December 2022. So overall, the idea is, for me, at least for now, for the market to continue with those swings. Okay, here's the thing. When am I wrong? I am wrong if we push below this area here. What is this? 82. Why? So there's a lot of resistance coming in. So we have like this trough now. Other people might be looking actually at this or this here. Some others will be looking at the 200-day exponential moving average. So it's like kind of here as well. So then some people are probably referencing this old resistance that is now turning into hopefully support. So this is like a very thick area of resistance. And I believe this to hold hopefully a little bit better. We do have also really strong resistance coming in here, yeah, in the, what is this, 88, 87 area. But if we were to push higher, then we would truly turn this very long neutral range into an actual bull market. But it has to happen first. We did see the first indications of a bounce. However, here's a few things that are worrying me. And oh, by the way, we do get a bullish signal on the stochastic. So yeah, okay, looking good. But the only thing that's truly worrying me a little bit right now is we are getting a preliminary bearish signal on the MACD. Doesn't mean it's a confirmed signal, but this crossover is a preliminary bearish signal. So I'm wondering, what is happening here? Are we really maybe just moving up a little bit before then pushing lower, or maybe even into a sideways range? So here's the thing. In the next couple of like weeks and all that, I am still fairly bullish because there's no evidence that we are bearish and there's no evidence that we are neutral, right? But if we truly fail to make new peaks and we start doing something like this, then I would turn my near-term view from bullish to neutral for now. Because then we are clearly not making new highs or new lows. Then we have failed here twice already, or once, yeah, we're not making a new low, and we would have failed here, not making a new high. So I kind of want to see what happens in the next couple of 1, 2, maybe 3 days, 4 days, yeah, if we break higher, or if this is turning into a little bit of a sideways range. That would be interesting. And then we would have to reassess if the sideways range is more likely to resolve lower or higher. But then I would start looking at more fundamental data as well, because there's always an interplay between supply and demand. Technical and fundamental analysis, we're all just trying to identify the shift in supply and demand. So we're all looking at the same thing, but using different methods in order to identify this. Yeah, this here is the one that's worrying me, the MACD. Let's have a quick look at volume. What is volume doing? Okay, volume is still more or less strong, but here the volume is falling a little bit on the down leg. That's good sign for the bulls, and but not much. The volume isn't really picking up on this bounce here, so that's also an indication of maybe initial bullish weakness. But hey, if you've taken it from all the way somewhere here, 79, 78, until here, or maybe even just here, you would have still made a killing potentially. So good on you, good on you. All right. Oh yeah, by the way, one more thing I wanted to say. So you might be thinking that, okay, so Marcello, you're just pointing out all these support levels here, saying that we are overall still bullish, but on the TTF, you're pointing out all this resistance, but you say it's more easily to break through here. So what's going on? I am simply going with the original direction, because the original direction overall is still bullish. So breaking above this would be a challenge, but meaningful and still more likely than a break lower right now. But the argumentation here is we are also still overall bullish, but here it's offering good solid support, so a break lower would be really meaningful for the bears, but that isn't happening yet. So in this case, strong support, yeah, makes this anything more of a sideways range or an eventual break higher. But here strong resistance here, I'm still more bullish because the market is still bullish. Can you see? So yeah, so it's more about the underlying direction if the momentum can be maintained. This here will be tricky. Honestly, this for the TTF, this will be tricky. Brent also. I do see for both of them, I do see some potential for a little bit of a sideways move. Okay, cool. Let's have a look at carbon. Okay, so you can see my arrows here from last week. Let's zoom out onto the weekly chart. Okay, so this is getting messy, but zooming out, we see long-term uptrend. Okay. We still, of course, haven't made it past the 100 euros mark, and we have a little bit of, bear with me, a little bit of creativity is required here. So you can see this line and this line. So this is an ascending triangle, which is helping us right now to anticipate the next couple of moves. And then moving in even further, we do see this descending channel. There you go. So this here is the triangle line, yeah. This is the descending channel within the triangle. So we're in a near-term downtrend. Zooming in, last week, what is this here? I anticipated that we are going to move higher, and we did retrace all the way until 61.8. Can you see how bang on we were? And now we're moving lower a little bit, so I'm just removing this for clarity. There you go. And now let's see, I'm not changing anything here. Let's see if the market will actually retrace lower, going back to the 81 sort of support area if we really peak out. Is there any evidence for the market to have peaked out? Well, yes, we do have the stochastic, or use any other oscillator that you enjoy. We did get a bearish signal here. We did have a, what is this again? Not really not a spinning top. I would call this a spinning top candle. We've got our first red candle, so now the idea is for the market to move lower overall. Here, I wouldn't really look at the MACD or any other momentum tools anymore, because we are a little bit, I mean, it's not quite a sideways trend, but not much has happened. And I wouldn't dare to take like this bullish signal, this bearish signal, this bullish signal, this bearish signal, this bullish signal. This is silly, because we are, although the market is shifting lower, this here is a little bit of a sideways range. So in sideways trends, do not use moving averages. As you can see, the 200, not really useful right now, or tools that are based on moving averages. So here I do enjoy the oscillators a little bit more. Okay, cool. So that's it. In summary, TTF this week, probably a little bit sideways, but ultimately my idea is still to break higher. We've got some strong resistance coming up, and if we do break higher, 56, 57. Brent, we have made good gains. Now there's a chance actually of the market moving sideways as well, but overall I still believe that we are about to break higher with the information that is available to us right now. And then of course we do have EUAs, European carbon. We are probably pushing lower a little bit towards 81, because this here looks a little bit toppy. Thank you very much. You all have a great week ahead. It is getting tricky once more. Be careful with the intraday timeframes. Hey, if you made it all the way to the end of the video, you might want to even see me in person. I am going to be at Gastech here in Singapore, because I'm based in Singapore as well. Do say hello. Find me on LinkedIn, Marcello Colax. If you haven't already. So this is my name. Find me on LinkedIn. Say hello. Maybe meet me at Gastech. I do have a WhatsApp group where I post this video always one day earlier. So do let me know if you want to be part of that. Everyone, have a good week ahead and see you around. Bye bye.